Channel welcomes you to Lowe's Motor Speedway. We're tonight at CTC Pole Night for the Coca Cola 600, or as you know it, Bud Pole qualifying. Well, it's been a busy week here just north of the Queen City. A lot of fans have stayed in town, visiting race shops and collecting souvenirs after last Saturday night's Nextel All-Star Challenge. After the high fives, the introductions, and the mosh pit, well, some of the stars' lights got turned out early. Way too early. Kurt Busch igniting a 12-car pileup, then on the next to last lap, Ryan Newman gets loose. Matt Kenseth seals the deal. Robbie Reiser cheers him on. Jack Roush cashes the check. And Mr. Kenseth, our defending Cup champion, is $1 million richer. Ryan Newman went over to congratulate him, said the sprint over to Matt's car was tougher than running the race. However, it's back to point racing this weekend with NASCAR's longest race, the Coke 600. Dale Jr. has a 40-point lead on the defending 600 champion, Jimmy Johnson, and his Hendrick teammate, four-time Cup champion, Jeff Gordon, 62 points back. Jr. padded that lead in the last point race on the schedule, the Chevy American Revolution 400 at Richmond, where he drove his Monte Carlo into victory lane. So today and tonight, as we have 52 cars, it's Budweiser Pole Award qualifying live on Speed Channel. Let us first have our birthday celebration and meet the birthday boy himself, Speedway Illustrated's Dick Berggren. Happy birthday, Dick.
Yeah, had to do that, didn't you, Mike Joy? There's always pressure in qualifying, but tonight there's more pressure than usual. 52 cars practice, 52 cars will take time tonight, but only 43 are going to make the big show on Sunday afternoon. So for a lot of teams, the pressure is on, but none more than the teams in the back of the pack. The guys who absolutely don't have any provisionals, they have to qualify on time. Like Kevin LePage, who only took 3 laps this afternoon, 44th quickest. He has really got to step it up, and so do a bunch of others. It's going to be a fun qualifying session to see some of those guys can make it. Let's go to Matt Yoakum.
Dick, it's not about pressure for Matt Kenseth. It's more about pride and big money. Roush Racing won 4 straight Coca Cola 600 races and then saw their streak come to an end due to Jimmy Johnson's big month of May 1 year ago. That's exactly what Kenseth hopes to do this weekend. Put a period on the month of May, winning both the All-Star race, which paid $1 million, and capping off with his second Coca Cola 600 victory. But Mike Joy, it all begins tonight with qualifying.
We'll set the field for you next, and as Dick pointed out, 52 cars, that is a big field. Now, Darrell, you would have thought, you might think, have we had enough practice this week? I mean, we had the All-Star Challenge, we've had everything that's gone on here leading up to these pole runs. Is it enough?
I want my crew chief buddy here to explain something to me. How can I come over and do all that practicing, all that testing, all that racing, and then I unload today? I can't drive my car. What happened?
Well, we'll practice all you want, but once again, the schedule here at Lowe's Motor Speedway is so unique. These guys practiced for 2 hours this afternoon, and the track temperature was over 130 degrees. By the time the last of these 52 cars go, the track temperature is probably going to cool down about 30 to 40 degrees, so it's going to drive different anyhow than it did in practice today. But the unique thing, 52 cars, the fastest 38 was separated only by 3/4 of a second. It has the makings of a very tight field.
So as the sun turns to shade around about half of this racetrack, we'll go back down to Dick Berggren.
Ryan Newman, and 21 poles in his young career, 3 of them here at Lowe's Motor Speedway. He won the pole for both races last year at Lowe's. Holds the track record, second quick in practicing. You feel the pressure?
No pressure. We're not got the ideal spot to go out and qualify here, but we've done it here before. So from this close to this spot, so we'll see what we can do. I had a feeling we might run like a 28.62. You got any idea what the significance of that would be?
No, tell me.
I think it's somebody's 62nd birthday this week.
I'm stuck. I'm stuck. Good luck anyway, Ryan. Let's go to Matt.
And the guy who practically owned the Lowe's Motor Speedway last May, Jimmy Johnson, 2 wins here in May and then a 3rd in the fall. And you started right where you left off, your first in practice. You got to like the fact you go out last.
We couldn't ask for any more. Hopefully, I'm able to do the job when the money's on the line and the pole's up for grabs. So, you know, it's looking, stacked in our favor. Ryan goes early. Brian Vickers goes early. We go dead last. Hopefully, everything's in line and we get the slowest Monte Carlo on the pole.
Now, when you talk about how confident these guys are, what did you do to your crew chief, Chad Canales, after the final lap you ran on the racetrack during practice?
Today went too smooth, and I needed to get under his skin a little bit, so I had the Goodyear guys write up a fake tire sheet that showed the car was all out of whack, and let him scratch his head for a little bit. So that was good. Then after that, we went and had a SpongeBob announcement. I'm going to race in the Busch Series this year in the fall race. It's going to be the SpongeBob 300, and I'll be in a SpongeBob car with 48 on the side. So lots of exciting things today.
And if I'm not mistaken, I saw Chad Knaus wearing the SpongeBob outfit last year sometime at some race. I can't say for sure that really happened, but I think it did. Guys?
Bob on parade. The Saturday Busch race in October as part of Humpy Wheeler and Lowe's Motor Speedway's family-friendly initiative will be the SpongeBob SquarePants Movie 300.
That's Hammond in there. I don't know if you know that or not.
No.
I think there was a reason he wasn't doing this show.
Speed Channel coverage of Budweiser pole qualifying from Lowe's Motor Speedway is brought to you by new M3 Power from Gillette. Feel the power of the world's best shave. By Stacker 2, the world's strongest fat burner. And by the 4,000 CarQuest Auto Parts stores across North America. You'll find it at CarQuest. "52 cars, the most since the Brickyard 400 at Indy last year. And here are the 5 drivers with absolutely no provisional points because these are brand new teams or first time out this season teams.
A lot of pressure on Kyle Busch because remember Texas had no provisionals, wrecked qualifying. Probably like to make a race, get going.
Let's go back to the birthday boy with one of the perennial favorites here.
And that's Rusty Wallace, and you should be a favorite for tonight. I mean, after all, he won the poll for the Nextel All-Star Challenge. Got that all out in one sentence. How about tonight? Now, you're starting in, I mean, you're going to go out real early. Weather's going to change, going to get cooler. How important will the weather be, Rusty? That's his teammate.
The weather's going to be real important, but hey, before we get going, happy 62nd birthday. Oh. Happy 62nd.
Everybody knows.
62nd birthday.
39th, Rusty, 39.
Long time, buddy. But anyway, hey, we got that done, right? Yeah, we did. Anyway, the weather's going to play a big factor. I think that the longer it goes, the faster track's going to be. I'm not looking forward to going out 5th, but I'll tell you what, Dick, right now it's about 40 degrees cooler track surface than when I ran that car last, so it's going to be faster, it's for sure. I just hope it's quick enough.
Good luck to you. Thanks, Rusty. Gosh, Dick, who's your PR guy? Everybody knows. Jeff Burton is on track in the Roundup Ford. Scored a big win here. Of course, any win in the Coke 600 is a big win. This is 2001. Driving for the same number 99 team, who then emulated Helio Castroneves' fence climb here at the Lowe's Motor Speedway.
Jeff was 24th quickest in practice. They wanted to race the same car that they had here in the open the other night. Of course, he was involved in that first lap or first straightaway crash at the beginning of the open. So they brought this car back. This was their Rockingham car.
He's won it twice, 99 and 01. Won the 600, that is. His team owner, Jack Roush, has won 4 of the last 5 600s.
I don't know how fast he is, but the car looked good. He really took that late entry into turn 3. That's usually a good indication it's handling good.
Now, Ryan Newman will go 4th, Darrell. Jimmy Johnson will go last. The 2 drivers talked about it. Is that a theoretical edge for Jimmy Johnson, or is it a very real advantage?
Oh, no, it's huge. You know, as Larry can tell you with his track temperature monitoring that he does, the track should be a good 2/10 quicker by the time he goes out.
Well, Jeff Burton's the very first car. His first lap was 29.44. That's 0.4 of a second quicker than he ran in practice, and he actually picks it up just a wee bit on lap 2 to 29.42. That right there is a huge pickup, and it's only going to get better as the night goes on.
Now, you bolt tires on those bad boys and tape them up. You're going to pick up a lot of speed in any time that you go out to qualify, but it'll get better as they go along.
Weather or not?
And there you see right there, turns 1 and 2, 97 degrees. It's because the shade has started shading it behind the grandstands, 112. And as I talked in the top of the show, the track temperature was over 133 degrees a couple hours ago when these guys were practicing.
A week ago, almost. I don't know if Matt Kenseth yet had time to spend $1 million, but he got Ryan Newman a little squirreled up there, never touched him. but got him just loose enough to get underneath and complete the pass.
Wasn't any arrow push there. That was all about sticking the nose up under the guy in front of you and lifting him off the ground without contact.
He has swapped paint jobs, swapped DeWalt yellow for Smirnoff Ice black. I guess you'd have to call it triple black.
But unlike a lot of teams, he did not swap cars. This is the same car that he won with the other night.
I mean, they took it back and repainted the whole car.
I wouldn't have changed one iota on that baby. Nope. Because it was getting it the other night.
Well, Jimmy Johnson last year, he won the All-Star race and then came back with a different car, won the 600. But this car seemed to be so good on long runs the other night.
Now, one other thing, Larry, may be different. He had the new generation Ford engine package last weekend for the All-Star race. Does he have it here?
No, he does not have it here. And I had a long conversation with Robert Yates just this morning. And there's 8 teams in the Ford camp. You've got the 2 Yates teams, the 5 Roush teams, and then you've got the 21 team of the Wood Brothers. And the Wood Brothers are the car that has that new generation of engine here. And maybe we'll talk about that a little bit later when Ricky Rudd goes out to qualify.
Matt Yoakum?
Still first. You topped your teammate. What do you think about that 2-time Coke 600 winner?
Well, that just felt really good. I don't know what else I could have asked for anymore. Maybe driving a little deeper into one, but real happy with that. The car drove well all day. Hopeful good things for the roundup Ford on Sunday. Certainly going out early is going to be a little bit of a detriment, but I'll take that lap. I'm happy with that.
Jeff Burton, quickest of 2 so far. Kyle Petty in the Georgia Pacific Dodge, number 45.
Yeah, he struggled in practice. He was 40th quickest, and this is the same car they had last week, and they struggled with it last week.
Crazy Critters, that is on the hood.
Crazy Critters. That would be Jeff Hammond and Chris Myers.
Ooh, remind me of that one Saturday night. That's a good one.
The way the 43 car has been qualifying, you'd think, Larry, that they would share a little information. The 43's been really good the last couple of races.
He's been qualifying good, that's for sure.
Really good. Third, 2 races in a row.
12 years ago, Kyle started on the front row here for the May race. 29.86. That's about 4.5 tenths off of Jeff Burton.
Yeah, the car just looks kind of nervous and a little tight.
Yeah, he won this 600 race back in May of 1987.
Driving for the Wood Brothers. In case you're wondering, the all-time pole winner here, David Pearson, 14 times he started on a pole at Charlotte, including 11 in a row. Burton, Matt Kenseth, Kyle Petty, the 3 qualifiers so far, as the Rocket Ryan Newman, a 3-time pole sitter at Lowe's Motor Speedway, comes out.
Did a little zig and zagging right there in 1 and 2.
His time in practice was a 29.39. As you heard Dick Burdwin talk, he is the track record holder here at 28.93.
Woohoo! Man, he sealed her down into turn 3, though. He didn't leave nothing on the table. Pretty good to me.
Good enough.
28.88. That's a new track record.
That's a track record.
Almost 187 miles per hour average.
I hate going out early. Golly, it's going to ruin my day.
Well, is this 2 or 3 in a row? What were you saying? You want to get hold of the guy that draws the pill for Ryan?
You know who Ryan Newman makes life miserable for? All these guys that go early, they can't use it as an excuse now.
Right. That is an amazing lap. I tell you, he got down into turn 3 as good as anything I've seen since I've been coming here.
28.90. He almost set a new track record. In fact, that's a track record too on his second lap.
Oh, good.
Wow.
Well, now I wonder what Jimmy Johnson's doing. He said he had kind of stacked in his favor.
He'll be having a meeting with SpongeBob.
It's kind of stacked in his face right now.
Newman with 2 top 5 finishes here, including the runner-up finish last October. As always, started in the top 5 here. Matt?
A short debrief with your teammate, Jeff Burton. Now, Matt Kenseth, what did you tell him about your run?
My car was just too loose off the corner, so we were really good in practice today. That's a really disappointing run for us. I thought we were going to have a lot better car than that. We didn't really change anything. We actually tightened the car up a little bit, and I thought the track actually would have been tight and worried about being too tight, but I was just way too loose up off the corners. I couldn't hold the gas down like I needed to, so I'm encouraged about where we're going to be able to run in the race. Hopefully we got a real good car. Same car as last week. We just painted in the Smirnoff Ice colors this week, so excited about the 600, but I wish we had a better spot to start.
He's hoping this car has another win left in it this week here at Lowe's. Dick?
Breaking news, a big story down here on pit road. Kevin Harvick is all suited up and ready to qualify, but a substitute driver has shown up. He's lighter than you. Is he faster than you? Who is this guy?
Well, this is Ford Martin. This is Gil Martin's son. And I think this might be the way the age is going. If NASCAR didn't set limits, he'd probably be replacing me. So it's pretty cool. We got him a new suit for his go-kart. And he can tell you pretty much as anybody knows about the sport. But
what do you think? Is this guy going to be fast tonight?
What?
Is he going to be fast tonight? Is Kevin going to be quick?
Yes, he is.
All right, is he going to win the pole?
I hope.
Well, he hopes so, too. What do you think?
We got to tell you happy birthday. I understand you're 60, Dick, 62
Who
years old.
did this to me?
We want to say happy birthday to you.
Just remember, if you're going to get me a gift, it's not the thought that counts, Kevin. It's how expensive it is.
What?
It's not the thought. It's how expensive the gift is that you're going to buy me.
I don't know about that. I don't like that theory.
Well, I do, and it's my birthday, so I get to choose.
Tell him his wife likes it, too.
And yeah, Delana likes it as well. She authorized this. It's okay. Mike, you better take it.
Rusty Wallace, 29-24. That is second quickest for the Miller Dodge.
Yeah, the good news is he's second quickest. The bad news is he's 4/10 slower than his teammate Ryan Newman.
Well, Matt, did Ryan surprise himself? He surprised a lot of people with that run.
He surprised his dad, car chief Chad Norris. So the big question, did you surprise yourself with that big pickup from practice?
Yes and no. I mean, I think the track's in pretty good shape. You know, the car's definitely in good shape. So we'll see how it turns out. I mean, I know it's a good effort, and to beat the track record is pretty awesome. But just see what the Auto Dodge does for the rest of the night in comparison to the competition, and then on Sunday night.
Now, you always set the benchmark for qualifying, but what do you think the chances are of this holding up?
I don't know. I mean, I know the car's pretty fast, the track's pretty fast, different tire and everything. So we'll have to see. I mean, we'll know at the end of the night.
There's a long way to wait for Jimmy Johnson.
Long way for Brendan Gaughan to go here. First lap coming around. This his best effort this season, 5th, and that came at California. He has 3 top 10 starts this year. 3rd, 29-38.
You know, we've only had 6 cars qualify, but all 3 Penske cars are the top 3 right now.
Started 9th and finished 2nd in his first truck race here in 2003.
Been seeing that a lot, Larry, where the Dodges just seem to really have the edge qualifying.
Especially, it seems like these size racetracks.
And since there are more of these size racetracks than anything else,
this lap may be a little better. Looks a little better. 29.02. Good
second
lap.
place.
And he jumped it right up there.
Picked
Good
up
job.
3.5 tenths on that second lap.
Brendan likes a 1.5 mile track. Loves Texas.
So the Kodak Dodge is 2nd to Ryan Newman with Alltel Dodge. He and Budweiser pole qualifying. To Lowe's Motor Speedway, where Andy Hillenberg in the commercial truck and trailer Ford will be the 7th driver to qualify, and he is 7th at 31.55. Andy, who runs Fast Track Driving School, headquartered just off the backstretch here, trying to make it in, and he'll just about have to get in on time. Is Brian Vickers sound asleep?
Obviously, no one told him what Ryan Newman run yet. He wouldn't be asleep right now. Boy, the 80 car got way up.
See, Brian was 3rd quickest in practice. Yeah, you mentioned that Fast Track Driving School that Andy runs. They use a lot of his drivers in cars in the Dale Earnhardt movie that's coming out.
We met a fellow last night with a, what, 700,000-mile 1970 Ford pickup that they used in the movie as well.
Yeah.
And it looked brand new.
What they use it for, a prop?
No, they had somebody driving it, you know, as a period vehicle.
How many thousand miles?
He said 700,000.
700,000.
But that's like, you know, that's like the farmer's 150-year-old axe. It's only had 7 different heads and 6 different handles.
Yeah, well,
but it's 150 years old.
It's right in there with about how many miles Bergman's got on him.
Oh, not fair. Matt, help us out of this.
High five, and you're still cheering everybody. A big pickup from practice.
You know, the guys in the Kodak team have been working hard. And last week, we wish we could have got a couple laps in that open to really give us some practice, but we tricked ourselves in qualifying. We didn't want to out-trick ourselves. We knew we had some issues, but the weather might change it. Might not stay where it is. I mean, it's going to get real fast by the end of the night, but man, that's just awesome. It'll keep the Kodak Dodge hopefully in the top 10.
Right now, it's Penske, Penske, and Penske, the top three.
If excitement and enthusiasm has anything to do with making a car go fast, he is
fast every lap.
He will. I love his attitude.
Got to be worth a tenth or two. Ricky Craven, when he started his Cup career and came here with Larry Hendrick's team, ripped off a third-place start and then 2 seconds in his first 3 races here. In fact, 4 of his first 5 starts were first or second row.
First lap is 29.36. That's good enough for 4th quickest. It was 29th quickest in practice.
You know, Merritt mentioned Larry Hendrick, former car owner in the Cup Series. He'll be the auctioneer Friday night at the Speedway Children's Charities Ball. Jeff Hammond auctioning off a fan experience at the 5-off, 5-on school, and a lot of neat things for the tuxedoed set to bid on there for a good cause. I wonder if they can bid on Dick Bergeron's birthday cake.
It just goes on and on and on, doesn't it? The man who has won more poles than anybody else trying to win a pole tonight is Jeff Gordon. He has 7 of them here. What are your chances tonight, Jeff?
Well, I don't know if we got a shot at the pole. We were off a little bit in practice. We were real tight. We just kept freeing it up. I think the car's there. But I just got to say hi to Robbie Loomis. We're missing him right now. He's with his mom where he needs to be, and we're going to try to put one on him. For those guys, our prayers are certainly out with down there with him, his family, and his mom. And let's see if we made the right adjustments here with Brian Weitzel and Steve Letard filling in for him.
All right, well, good luck tonight. Thank you.
That team probably, Darrell, has the deepest bench of anybody in the garage. The names he mentioned could be a crew chief on any of these top teams. But they're there at Hendrick Motorsports backing up Robbie Loomis.
Yeah, actually, Brian was the crew chief for a short period of time, and a sharp guy.
Yeah, he's been there ever since this team started, and when Ray Evernham left there, they went to Martinsville. As you said, Brian Weitzel was the crew chief that day when they won that race.
Another Hendrick car, Terry Labonte. A lot going on over at Hendrick Motorsports, the museum, as they celebrate their 20th anniversary this week.
Yeah, I was over there last night. They're going to, you know, all the drivers that have driven for Hendrick Motorsports are signing autographs. I was over there yesterday with Joe Nemechek, and I think Brian was over there, Vickers, and Al Busch came in. And I was there, and it was great. We had the Pepsi stage. Really a lot of fun.
He's just never had a driver that didn't win a race for him, has he?
No, not that I'm aware of. Great cars, great people, and a lot of that just trickles down from Rick Hendrick.
Terry Labonte, 6th fastest in the Kellogg's Got Milk Chevrolet, 29.43. Among those waiting to qualify, his younger brother, also a past Cup champion, Bobby. Raciest weekend of the year. A lot of open wheel racing elsewhere. Here in Charlotte, the ARCA REMAX Series is next, right here on Speed. The NASCAR Busch Series qualifying tomorrow. Then it's over to FX on Saturday for the CarQuest Auto Parts 300 and Nextel Cup. Final practice on Fox. The Coke 600 coverage begins 5 p.m. Eastern time. Make sure you flip over for 5 o'clock. The Coke 600 on Fox, and then we'll take you home here on Speed with NASCAR Victory Lane late Sunday evening.
Hermie Sadler's first lap was 30 flat. That makes him 9th quickest out of 10 cars. And with 52 cars here, Hermie could be one of those could be in jeopardy.
Yeah, they're 40th on the owner points list. So while he may not have to get in on time, it sure would be a bonus for Hermie. Dick Bergeron.
Step back with us for a moment to May 1995 in this very racetrack. Remember that night? Your very first ever win in the Winston Cup Series.
Oh yeah, that was an exciting night, and you know, it was just one of those deals where we were running second to Schrader. Schrader blew up there with about 50 miles to go, 75 miles to go, I guess, and kind of found myself out front and beat Terry by a huge distance, but at that time, finished first and second. He finished second, and just a huge win.
And Jeff Gordon remembers his very first Nextel Cup win, Winston Cup win. It was also here. A lot of first-time winners in this race, Mike. What? He wants to say some more. Go ahead.
Happy birthday.
Obviously, somebody's about 5 steps ahead of Dick Bergeron.
Bergie, let me say this about that.
Who did this to me?
If all the rest of us are going as strong at 62 as you are, and in that kind of shape, I mean, I will be very, very happy to be able to do what you're doing on Fox right now when I'm 62.
And if there's ever been a man on television that enjoys his job, it's Dick Burgess.
Well, I'll certainly say all of that, and I've enjoyed every bit of it and looking forward to much, much more in the future.
How many starts have you got, Dick?
Well, I started doing the TV stuff, Darrell, back in 1981, and it's a good thing I haven't kept count of how many broadcasts I've done, because Chris Myers would tease me about it no end. How you doing?
I did PA with him at Thompson Speedway in 1970. And we were both, well, we were out of college, and I think we announced the feature and then went to Boston for an evening in the combat zone. Bergie was the tour guide. Not everybody knows that story, and I probably shouldn't have told it.
When I was Chinese food later at about 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, right.
When I was listening to races on the radio, well, they used to throw to Dick over in the third turn, so I just wondered how long he'd been doing that.
Kevin Harvick, 29.35. Second lap mirrors the first for the GM Goodwrench Chevrolet.
That should make his substitute driver pretty happy for Martin.
Yep. Pretty good lap. And right now he is the fastest Chevrolet. Glad my birthday's in the offseason.
It's a guy that was pretty fast in practice. Joe Nemechek, he was 5th quickest. This group was glad to get out of here on All-Star Weekend. They torqued 2 race cars, one in practice before qualifying. They were involved in that wreck as well in the All-Star race.
Look at the hood on that car, on that Army Chevrolet. It's the cover of Time magazine when they honored the American soldier as Man of the Year. And this paint scheme is a tribute to all of our armed forces, especially our Army soldiers.
Good looking car. Really is sharp.
Going to look good under the lights Sunday night.
Oh yeah, that car looks got those day-glow colors on the side of it.
Third. Wow, 29.19, and
whoa, hang on to her, Joe.
Nemechek's the quickest Chevrolet.
You know, he drove her down in there a little bit harder that time, Larry, and she bottomed out with him, and he couldn't hang on to it. But still, that's a great first lap.
It's a good thing that's the cover of Time and not the cover of Sports Illustrated. You know about that jinx about the cover of Sports Illustrated? That car would have been in the wall. They did enough of that last week. Joe Nemechek is third behind Ryan Newman and Brendan Gaughan. Welcome back to Lowe's Motor Speedway, where Brian Vickers, the GMAC-Ditech.com Chevy, third in practice. He's our next qualifier. Whoa, he is second on the board, 28.99.
He's using up the whole racetrack. I can tell you that. He was almost in the fence off of 2. I think he may have brushed it off of 4. But with a time like that, keep it coming.
That's it. We have seen some cars pick up a little bit on that second lap. I don't think we'll on this one.
I think he's got his hands full on this second lap.
Not looking too good here.
Pole winner at Richmond, runner-up at Atlanta, second fastest on lap 1. Lap 2 is slow.
Boy, he took a breath on that second one.
Had to. Kind of bought down his interest rate coming off the corner there, and came so close to the safer barrier.
Here you see the track temperature down in turns 1 and 2, 94 degrees roughly, 106 degrees, so it just continues to come down. When we started qualifying, it was 95 degrees and 109 degrees, so it's come down 3 or 4 degrees, 13 cars into this qualifying session.
But Vickers was one of the bigger bullets for Ryan Newman to dodge if he hopes to hold on to the pole. Matt?
Kevin Harvick sitting in the 6th position. Now, you brought back the same race car that has a couple wins, the Brickyard and Chicago, the car you ran last week.
Yeah, it's car 88. Chicago, that's where Mike Joy's from, right?
I think he was born in Chicago, Illinois, if I'm not mistaken.
I probably, we won't be around to see his 60th birthday in the offseason, will we?
No, we're off by then.
Tell him 6 years from now. Thanks a lot.
You can tell him at the banquet, though.
Yeah, I'll tell him happy birthday, happy 60th at the banquet. Okay.
I think that AARP membership kicks in there.
But anyway, the Goodwrench car, Goodwrench Chevrolet, was a little bit too tight, and second lap was better through 1 and 2, and just push the nose down here. But all in all, it wasn't too bad, and see what happens.
Matt, you just remind Harvick that the fella sitting to my right turned 60 a few years before I do, so he's got time to work on his...
Now, don't talk about Larry Mack like that.
No, he's got time to work on his ad-libs. Hey, second place, Jeff Gordon, 28.88.
88. I mean, the same
4 1/1000ths of a second difference from Ryan Newman. 885 to 889.
And he's still coming, so you know, we have seen a couple of 3 cars in practice pick up.
Let's play 2. Well, the adjustments they made must have been the right ones, Robbie.
I mean, guys, he picked up almost a second from practice, 9/10 of a second.
It's been a battle, you know, here lately between he and Ryan for who's going to get the pole, and he did it. No, he didn't. He slowed down. I saw that 7.4, but he slowed down.
Yeah, there was a 2.9. Yeah. Last 6 races, average finish of 4th with 2 victories, and that has moved him up to 3rd in the championship chase.
Now, you want to talk about some numbers. If I ask you if who had the most top 5s here in the last 10 races, who had the most top 10s here in the last 10 races, who's led the most laps here in the last 10 races, who has the best average finish here in the last 10 races, who's gotten the most Nextel Cup points here in the last 10 races,
well, then
who would you think that'd be?
Who are we looking at?
The car Fatback works on.
He has owned this joint.
Bobby Labonte, that 18 car.
You think Fatback's mad they put Shrek 2 on the other kid's car? Or did we wear him out on the Hulk last year? I don't know.
Bobby was 15th quickest in practice at a 29.74. This is a type of racetrack he normally reach down and pull one out during qualifying.
Now, of course, this week, the Shrek 2 movie is on Bobby Labonte's car.
I saw it last night, and it is a hoot.
Yeah.
I loved it when they said they were in pursuit of a white Bronco.
Did they really?
Yeah. The donkey turned into a white stallion.
5th quickest for Bobby, 29.09.
Wait a minute. You don't think they put Shrek on Bobby's car and Eddie Murphy's character on Tony's car, do you?
No, Mike. I can't believe you'd say that.
I'm not going there.
We'll leave our dog out of that fight.
I said on the car, not in the car. Gosh.
You just keep digging. There, you can need another shovel.
Not trying to.
Stop, will you?
Oh, by the way, Bobby Labonte is 5th with a 29.09. And we defer to Matt.
Brian Vickers currently 3rd. How would you describe that lap, Brian?
It was good. We got through 1 and 2 really good. The GMC Chevy car was it was awesome down on 1 and 2. We just got tight. Center off of turn 3 and 4. We were fighting that in practice, just sliding the nose off the corner, and it got us in qualifying too. We thought we had it fixed, but that's all right. It's still a good, solid qualifying effort for us. It'll be a good starting spot for the 600.
And a couple Hendrick cars sitting 2nd and 3rd.
1 Dodge, 2 Chevys, a Dodge, 2 Chevys, a Dodge, 2 Chevys, and a Ford. Jeff Burton is 10th. He's the fastest Ford right now. Kyle Busch in the CarQuest Chevy of Rick Hendrick. This is the go or go home program. He is 1 of 5 who must time into the field, no provision.
And he has got to be just sitting on a hot stove right now.
Yeah, he was not that quick in practice, guys, at a 30.09, 39th quickest.
He looks loose. See him just kind of feeding the wheel back a little bit. He's not really got a lot of wheel strength in it.
10th, not bad.
He's beat 6 cars, and to be in the fastest 38, you must beat 14 cars, so he's almost halfway there with that lap. That's quite a pickup.
I'd bring it in now. I think I would not take a chance, but they've had bad luck qualifying.
Sparks fly there.
Car looks better, though, I got to tell you.
And he's one of several drivers going to do the double duty here at Lowe's, which equates out to 900 miles, 600 Sunday night, and then the 300-mile Busch race on Saturday.
Boy, he didn't miss much on that second lap, within 100th of a second of the first. Matt?
A big lap by Ryan Newman, but a very strong lap by Jeff Gordon. How pleased are you with that effort, Jeff?
That one's for Robbie. I am so pleased. I mean, what a great pickup we made from earlier today, and track temperature going down makes a huge difference. It's just amazing how aggressive, how hard you can push here, and I don't think I could have gotten through 1 and 2 any better. I got to 3 and 4, and I knew I was just a little bit tight, and I got in the gas, but I was just scrubbing speed all the way off there, and I knew it was a heck of a lap. I didn't know it was that kind of lap, so I'm tickled to death. We're going to have us a great starting position no matter what happens the rest of the day. I know the track can get faster later and probably get knocked down there a little bit, possibly by my teammate Jimmy Johnson, but it's awesome to see those Hendrick cars up there, and couldn't be more proud of that lap.
Now, I'm sure you're going to debrief with Robbie later tonight, but you have to be pleased with the depth that this 24 team has.
Yeah, you know, it's the depth of the 24 DuPont team. It's the depth of Hendrick Motorsports. I mean, everybody just, you know, jumped in. They knew Robbie wasn't going to be here, and, you know, we just all came together and made a pack. And you know, it really is it's a tribute to Robbie and how he leads his team and what kind of people are underneath them and the resource that we have at Hendrick Motorsports. This is their 20th anniversary for Hendrick Motorsports, and, you know, they wouldn't be this successful in this business for that many years if they didn't have the right ingredients. And I think we showed that today by the great effort. And that's what we've been building on all year long, is that type of effort. So we're going to try to keep it going.
Alan Jeff Gordon's another driver who scored their first Next Up Cup win here in the Coca Cola 600.
Thanks, Matt. Johnny Sauter, 29.62, first lap for the AOL Chevy. Lap 2 is just a little bit quicker, but Sauter is 14. Welcome back to Lowe's Motor Speedway. Dave Blaney has picked up Whelan, the caution light and safety light people on the Bill Davis Dodge for the Coca Cola 600. Blaney's best start here is 8th in the Jasper car 1 year ago.
Good lap, Mike. Good run. Really good lap. This guy just continues to impress us with the runs he's had in this car for Bill Davis.
Well, you know, he sat on the pole for the open race the other night, but this is a different car. They did a 2-day test out here. He really liked this car. In the last run, the last night of the test, they wrecked this car. They repaired it, couldn't get it finished in time enough for the open, but brought it back for the Coca Cola 600. That's a good lap.
Bill Davis has been running a number of races with Blaney. They're trying to attract a full-time sponsor, haven't yet. A lot of action in the garage and intrigue, including one independent driver who lost his sponsor and backer and part of the team. They went to form their own team without him. We'll have that story a little later. As Ryan Newman, Jeff Gordon, Brian Vickers, then Brendan Gaughan, Bobby Labonte, and Dave Blaney. Let's go back downstairs.
Well, certainly one of the biggest stories of last week was the accident that Kurt Busch and Greg Biffle had together. Have you guys had an opportunity to talk this week? And if so, what was said?
Happy birthday, Dick. How old are you today?
Just a little bit older than you, Kurt, but not much.
3 times my age, maybe. Yeah, we talked about it this week on Tuesday. Just wanted to get things straightened out with him. Him and I have been a teammate for a long time, since our Truck Series days, and the two of us figured it out pretty quick, and I apologized to him, and 100% my fault, so we've got to move on from that, and we've got 600 miles this week instead of a 90-lap sprint last week.
Takes a big man to admit he made a mistake. Congratulations on that. Good luck tonight.
Yeah, we'll see what we get. I'm going to hold it on the floor and see what we got. That's what I did last week anyway. Maybe we'll get a good time this time.
You're always on the floor with the car.
Now, that's a lot of maturity. A year ago, I don't think we'd have heard that. And that's all you can do when you make a mistake, is say, hey, I screwed up, I made a mistake, I'm sorry. Hopefully I learned from it.
Quarters shaded by the setting sun. Ryan Newman, Jeff Gordon, so far our quickest. 22 cars have run while we were away. Carl Long in the number 46 racingmetal.com Dodge 17. Jeff Fultz, working out of the Jasper shop, took his Ford out for a run of 30.11. He is 21st. Morgan Shepherd, sponsor gone on that car. We'll have the rest of that story as far as where it all went a little later on. But Morgan is once again a sponsorless independent, and he times in a 30.10, 20th of 22. Michael Waltrip in the Napa Chevrolet coming off 4th in the All-Star race. Didn't have to repaint his car.
No, thing looked a little loose, so golly, looked like he was sideways.
He wasn't real happy with his car in practice. He was 23rd quickest, but this is going to be a good qualifying run for Michael. 7th quickest, 29.17.
Hey, I tell you one thing, he can qualify a car now. I've seen him get more out of cars when he didn't like them than anybody.
But Darrell, that's probably the best non-restrictor plate race that Michael's had in a long time in this 15 car the other night in that All-Star race.
Pretty impressive, and this lap looks better, Larry. I mean, he looks like he's coming faster.
Second lap mirrors the first within 2 100ths for Michael Waltrip, who is 7th. Let's go to Matt.
Well, guys, there's a little bit of debate. Now, some people say, Bobby Labonte, this is not Fatback, this is who?
I'm not going to say now on TV, idiot.
Robbie Reiser.
No, I've had people tell me that.
Now, what I want to talk to you about is down here on the bumper. What happened?
That was a bird. That was a bird. I don't know what happened. I don't know when that happened. Y'all probably got it on tape. But maybe that's what made my car cut so good down the middle of 1 and 2, or it made me go on the apron. I was trying to miss it or something. But anyway, we caught us a bird. Somebody caught one last weekend, so I guess we got one. But, you know, hey, we got to Shrek 2 on our car this weekend. I saw the movie. My kids drug us to the movies this past weekend. It's an awesome movie. And we had a pretty good lap, a lot better than we ran in practice. So, you know, it'll probably end up, you know, it'll be a better lap than we ran in practice. It'll be all right.
And I just want to thank all these guys for doing that, Interstate Batteries and all our sponsors. And, you know, got a bird, got a big ogre on the hood.
Hopefully he gets another W Sunday night.
Yeah. Who got one last week? Schrader?
Schrader got it, yeah. Remember the Swan?
That wasn't a Swan. It was foul play. That's what it was. Foul
That's
play.
right.
Kurt Busch. Best qualifying of the season, 4th at Las Vegas. He'll make his 126th career start Sunday night. Didn't think he'd been around that long.
That first lap was good news for his brother Kyle because he did not beat Kyle. Kurt ends up 14th quickest, just a little bit behind Kyle Busch's brother.
Car looks really tight. He's just having to really run it up the track.
He's struggled here. He's never finished or started in the top 10 at Lowe's Motor Speedway, and he is 14th. And he is in free fall in the Nextel Cup points. After leading the points at Texas, he now finds himself 252 out after 3 tough races in a row. Dick Bergman?
Well, Junior was just talking to Humpy Wheeler, and I'm wondering, was he giving you advice about how to qualify the car, or are you giving him advice about how to run the racetrack?
I was just trying to talk him back into bringing the jumping school bus back for the pre-race show. So I missed that. But we got a good car, and we had a good car today. And Humpy just, you know, he likes to come up and down pit road, check on everybody, see what everybody's up to.
Good luck to you tonight. Thank you.
You know, I know he wouldn't have to hunt long and hard to find anyone to drive that school bus. You know, Hammond would do it.
Yeah, he'd volunteer for it. Well, at least he'd ride in it.
Up on the hood.
No. The truants always sit in the far back seat. Here's the Swan, Kenny Schrader. After the short track fans of America voted him into the Nextel All-Star Challenge last Saturday night.
Struggled in practice. They were 43rd quickest. Speaking of birthdays, Kenny will be celebrating his 49th birthday this weekend.
Asked him how he felt about being the elder statesman of the Cup drivers, and first he said not too good, but then he said, but I guess I'm still doing it, so that's pretty good, isn't it? Yes, it is. He had a run here of 12 straight races starting in the top 10 that included 2 poles and 2 outside poles when he drove for Rick Hendrick.
Yeah, they were pretty tough here in late 80s, early 90s. Got a win here and always finished up in the top 5.
Yeah, Rick, the Hendrick cars have just been great here ever since they started. Rick put so much effort into this race. It's almost his Daytona 500.
Kenny Schrader is 18th with a 29.55. Pole qualifying from Lowe's Motor Speedway is brought to you by Budweiser. It's time for a fresh one. Grab a Budweiser. The race is on. Derek Cope racing for Arnold Development. The next qualifier, this is the Bennett Lane Winery Dodge. Do you have any of that at the wine room?
We haven't had any at the wine room. We had some samples, and it's pretty good stuff.
29.49 for Derek Cope. That is 18th quickest. Robbie Gordon, Mr. Memorial Day double dip in the singular wireless Chevy. Let's go to the pits.
With smoke, Tony Stewart, who last weekend was in Indianapolis trying out at IndyCar. What do you say? You ready to climb into one of those things next year and bring the Borg Warner Trophy back here in a helicopter?
Boy, it sure gave me the fever again. I can still fit one of them things pretty easy, so I don't know. You never know. It was nice to go up there. I got to see all my friends up there. Had a bunch of people that we were all going up there just to meet and hang out in my suite up there at Indy, but it was neat to go in the garage and see a bunch of the guys that were on my team when I ran back there, and just was a fun weekend. It ended up being pretty busy on Sunday, though.
It'd be more fun if you got to drive, though, wouldn't it?
Yeah, if nothing else, if I could have ran 8 or 10 laps, but, you know, it wasn't to be. But, you know, it was nice to see AJ up there at Indy again, and just to hang around and be a part of it up there was pretty exciting. So, I don't know. The only other thing that would really excite me is to see a neat broadcaster that's 62 years old today be able to go to Knoxville, Iowa, and run the Masters or Legends race up there in a wing sprint car this year.
And nothing would please a 62-year-old broadcaster more than get back behind the wheel of a sprint car and go.
I'll work on that.
Okay, thanks, Tony.
Dick, that sounds like a deal in the making, because I know Tony has a bunch of those sprint cars.
Yeah, and I could wreck them real good too.
No, go on up there. We'll bring cameras. That'd be a blast.
It would. I would love to do that. Just love to do it one time at Knoxville. You know, you run wide open at that place. Don't lift at all. And I've never run a racetrack where you can run wide open all the way around. I'd love to do that.
Dr. Dirt rides again. Robbie Gordon, 29-31. He will do the Memorial Day double, the Indy 500 and the Coke 600. Elliott Sadler in the pedigree Ford for Robert Yates.
And I still think it's kind of ironic that Robbie Gordon goes to Indy to qualify last week, and he has to take a time he's not happy with because he's got to get back to Richmond to make the drivers meeting because he qualified 6th and he didn't want to start in the back. He ran 1 lap, cut out a tire, and ended up in the back.
Yep. Well, you know, can't quit your day job.
Poor guy. I felt so sorry for him.
But Robbie said he would welcome Tony Stewart as a teammate next year at Indy for the 500. Now, Stewart, if you didn't watch the coverage on ABC, he was in AJ's car. It had Tony Stewart lettered on the side. Brian Barnard said they filled out all the forms, and they ran into a little contractual dispute between one of AJ's sponsor suppliers and one of Joe Gibbs, and he wasn't able to run the car, which is a shame. I think everybody would have loved to seen him have the chance, and it was just too late of a last-minute deal. Couldn't get put together, but wait till next year.
I still think that race is a huge distraction to Tony. I think it has been every year. If you look at how he's run the first half of the year.
If he'd win the Indy 500, he'd be your best buddy too.
Hey, guys, I'll tell you what, Elliott Sadler's going to welcome this qualifying run. He is 3rd quickest at a 28.93. He was one and done. I think that lap felt good. He knew it was good, plus he was running hot as well.
Scott Wimmer next in the Bill Davis Cat Dodge. And now Elliott Sadler also does not have the new Ford engine package here. He had it at Richmond and in the All-Star race, but not this weekend.
Yeah, he was actually the first Ford to run the new cylinder head engine at Richmond, and they actually had a problem with the motor in practice. They put another one of the new style engines in the car to race. But yeah, the Fords, as we watched Scott Wimmer make his qualifying run, the Fords in the All-Star race that did not have the new engine was Ricky Rudd, Greg Biffle, and Jeff Burton. And as I spoke earlier, I talked to Robert Yates. He said he just knows, he's excited about this new engine package. He knows it's going to be better. They need to get about an 800-mile weekend on it, which is going to be the perfect weekend to do this. And he said by no means is Ricky Rudd in that group being a guinea pig. He said he knows it's going to be better, but you have to be aggressive with gear. They're looking to turn these engines over 9,800 RPMs.
Wow. Scott Wimmer, 29.38 on his first lap. That's pretty sporty. He is 16th fastest, and the top of the board now has a Dodge, a Chevy, and a Ford.
But to show you, just follow up a little bit, Larry, on how complicated these engines have become. You don't just bolt another set of heads on the old block. I mean, it takes a lot of work, pistons and other things to get the performance they're looking for.
Whole new package.
Brian Newman, Jeff Gordon, Elliott Sadler are quickest. Brian Newman is quickest here at Lowe's Motor Speedway. Jeffrey Bodine has just completed his run. He's in the Lucas Oil Ford again this week. 30.03 for the two-time pole winner here. Jeffrey has 1 victory here in 36 starts. 2 poles and 11 Busch races. Dale Earnhardt Jr. next up. Finished 25th here in 2001 in the Coke 600. Finished 35th here 2 years ago after getting up and into the barrier. And last year, same song, even worse, 41st.
Had brake problems, as you can see right here, and not, even though it's home, it's not been kind to him.
It's not been a great race for Dale Jr. the last 3 years.
He was 12th quickest in practice. Looks like a pretty decent run here for him for this 8 car.
Now, he did win his first of 6 career poles here. 7th at a 29.14.
This racetrack ought to be getting right, Larry. The sun has now gone down, and this baby ought to be cooling down.
Tell you what, this group this year they've been on their mark on qualifying day. 11 races, 9 top 10 starts.
He's working with her right there, though. Got up out of the groove with him.
A best of 2nd this year, no butt pole yet.
Shut her down. Yeah, I would have shut her down way back there, but.
Well, let's meet the driver of the fastest Ford in town. Here's Matt.
Currently 3rd, Elliott Sadler. Now, you told me to hurry up. Because you were worried someone was going to knock you out of third. You're not shaking as bad as you were drinking your Coke, but how on the edge were you, Elliott?
Pretty much on the edge. I can't believe how much the track has changed, but had a lot of grip in it. Pedigree full Taurus was fast. We made a bunch of adjustments after practice, and Todd and the guys went the right way, and I'm pretty happy with that. And the guys always check me when I come in. Charlotte, you got to get after it at this racetrack. It's a lot of bumps here, and if you're shaking pretty good when you come in, they kind of know that I've gotten the most out of my race car. So it was a good night.
Now, on a scale of 1 to 10, how was your shake?
About 8.5 to 9. I had to pretty much wait till halfway around the track before I could give Todd all the feedback he wanted to have. I had to tell him wait a second, but I love racetracks like this where you can just give it all you got, let it hang out on the edge, and hope you bring it back in one piece. That's just gets my adrenaline going. I love it, and it's cool. It's nighttime. You see the cameras flashing. It's fun time here at Lowe's right now.
Well, he's currently third, but another fast guy's on the racetrack, Mike, and that's the 42 car.
Jamie McMurray in his second Cup start. He started 5th and won here. He was sitting in for Sterling Marlin, and that launched his Cup career.
You heard Elliott Sadler talk about the grip in the racetrack. Just look at the track temperature right there. And the reason turn 3 and 4 has come down a lot more than 1 and 2. Remember, even when we started, 1 and 2 is shaded, but now 3 and 4 is getting the shade. There's no sun on 3 and 4 as well.
McMurray up against the rev limiter with 2 front row starts this year, Rockingham and Martinsville.
Had a great race here the other night with he and Jeremy Mayfield. Sterling ended up winning the Open, but boy, that was quite a show at the end of the race.
He's going to be 14th with a 29.33. First lap will be the lap of record for McMurray. What a day that was here at Lowe's Motor Speedway, when this young driver, who we saw that he had potential in the Busch Series, and then he moved to Cup, and all of a sudden, wow, where did he come from?
And I tell you, those last 100 laps, he didn't bobble. He made no mistakes. He hit his mark. Almost every corner of every lap went to victory lane.
Hey, Frankie, you know that race for president?
Tony Stewart will be the 33rd qualifier. I guess that's apt, since they start 33 cars at Indy, that Tony would qualify 33rd. He didn't get a chance to qualify up at Indy, up there with A.J. Foyt. But look at this run, and look at the Fox tracker right up there.
Pretty good lap.
He has 1 pole position start here, but the field was set on points that time. Qualifying rained out.
Really good over here last week. Had one of the best cars here in the last 20 laps.
And Darrell, we all thought he had the winning strategy, stopping for tires, that he would be the go guy when it went back to green.
He did have a good race car. That car was right on the bottom all night long. Now, he's going to be competing in the Busch race on Saturday, and his car owner will be Kevin Harvick.
Tony Stewart, 29.01, 5th quickest and the 3rd of the Chevrolets. No DNFs in 04. That's the way you win a championship, and Smoke is 5th in the standings. Quite an improvement compared to 1 year ago. Dick?
Jeremy Mayfield turned 35 today, Mike, and look what his crew gave him. A walker that's all set up like a race car. I'm going to turn this thing around a little bit. We got a couple of rear view mirrors here. We got a compass in case he gets lost, a thermometer, and I think this is a watch. What else did you get for your birthday today?
Well, so far, that's about it. But you ever heard that song George Jones sings, I don't need no rocking chair? You know what I mean?
That's you?
Right. I remember when I was racing and Darrell used to say that. You know what I mean? Now I'm saying that's pretty bad.
I want to know how fast a 35-year-old man can go at Lowe's Motor Speedway tonight in a red car numbered 19.
Well, we're going to find out because they've been on me all day about that. So we're going to find out real quick here how fast they can go and see if I'm too old or not.
Okay, good luck tonight. Go get him, Jeremy.
It's pretty bad when a 35-year-old guy is considered old these days. I'm telling you.
What's happened to our sport?
Man.
Well, here is the rest of the story. This is Todd Bodine, a brand new team, the number 37. Carter's Royal Disposal. Last time we saw them at the racetrack, they were on Morgan Shepherd's car, but a lot can happen in a week.
Yeah, they were with Morgan Shepherd, and John Carter this past Monday morning decided he wanted to break away from Morgan Shepherd, start his own race team. He went to Ganassi's Monday morning, bought a car from them, bought an Ernie Elliott motor, hired Teddy Brown as a crew chief. He was over at Morgan Shepherd, hired Todd Bodine, and right now, I don't know if it's with Todd Bodine, they plan on running the rest of the races, the full schedule.
Wow, you don't see a lot of startup teams in the month of May here.
Another reason why we have 52 cars here, though.
First lap for Todd, 29.64. Because this is a brand new team, they will also have to make this race on time. They have not yet earned any provisional starts. Matt?
Tony Stewart just climbed from his race car. Now, Smoke, before qualifying, you and Zippy had a long talk about which way to go. Did you go the right way?
We went the right way, just didn't go enough, but you know, still a good job for these Home Depot guys. I always sit in the trailer, and that's always so frustrating because I'm like, how do these guys go out there and pick up 9/10 in qualifying? How do they know they can go that fast when they haven't gone that fast all day? So it amazes me. I mean, we picked up a half a second right there. So, you know, a lot of it obviously is knowing that the track's going to cool off and get more grip. And as the night keeps going on, it's just going to keep getting grippier. But it always amazes me to see how fast these guys can go. Guys like Ryan Newman, when it's, you know, he was first car out and still hot outside, and or first 3 cars out and go that fast. So just amazes me.
Real quick, Kid Rock, Kevin Harvick, big weekend on Saturday.
Yeah, real excited. I got to be back here tomorrow with Kevin Harvick's Busch Grand National car and running with Kid Rock on board. So we got the American Badass with us this weekend. So it's on the car, it's on the uniform, and it's on both of those. I guess I can say them without getting in trouble. So
I think it's one big group effort.
Yeah, it's definitely a big group effort. So you know, having Kid Rock, he's a good friend of mine and Junior's, and you know, to have him on the car with you know, the Kevin Harvick, it's going to be a fun weekend for us.
Thanks, Tony.
Another hot youngster, Casey Kane, who has 3 poles this year, but 14th on the first lap, 29.27. The Ray Evernham Dodge. Second lap backs it up.
Tell you what, I believe this will be a kid that we need to watch Sunday night, though. This has been his type of racetrack. He finished 7th in the All-Star Challenge race after being involved in that wreck. And he said even though it was his first Nextel Cup start here, he learned a lot in that 90-lap race.
And he has 2 top 10 finishes in the Busch Series here. Okay, the show that you've all been waiting for. I know we've all been waiting for it. We just can't wait until this debuts. June 9th, one obsessed fan will compete for a shot with a date with a professional racer. See just how far these fans are willing to go to win a date on I Want to Date a Race Car Driver. Network premiere, Wednesday, June 9th, 8 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Pacific, exclusively on Speed Channel.
Is Dick Berggren one of those candidates?
Or contestants, or is he one of the drivers? Which is it? As the Cheerios Dodge of Jeff Green takes to the racetrack. Which is it, Dick?
I hope it says one of the drivers, because I think my wife would not appreciate the other side of that deal.
Bad call.
Yeah.
Looks like another good run by the old 43 car here.
He was pretty quick in practice, 9th quickest. As you mentioned earlier, Darrell, he's qualified 3rd for the last 2 events and 7th quickest for Jeff Green in that 43 car.
Started 4th here for Gary Bechtel in 1997.
They got qualifying figured out, I'll tell you that.
No, they tested over here, and all throughout the 2-day test, he was definitely one of the quickest cars.
This again this week, this is the Great American Bake Sale Dodge. 7th at a 29.06. The next lap was almost 0.2 slower. We'll be back, and you'll see more of this from Lowe's Motor Speedway right after this word. Craig Biffle in the National Guard Ford is our 37th driver to qualify. 2 Cup appearances here, and he's looking for his first top 20 start at Lowe's Motor Speedway. He did win the Busch race here last October.
One thing we need to note, talked about the go or go home group, Kyle Busch, that 84 car, he is locked into the field now. He has beat more than 16 cars.
He will also carry a SpongeBob paint scheme in the Busch race come October. Patrick Starr, SpongeBob's buddy, is at McMahon, his cohort.
You've had to figure all these characters out, haven't you?
It's Hammond and Chris Myers, if you want to know who it is.
I got Scott and Katie at home keeping me up on all the SpongeBob stuff. Greg Biffle, 22nd with a 29.39. He's the 2nd fastest Ford. Dick?
Sterling Marlin was really quick last week. He won the Nextel Open, looked good in the other race, in the big one, until kabang, the big crash. But now you've brought a different car than that one, as fast as that was, but this is a good car too. 2 wins, 2 different drivers. How did you settle on this one rather than that one?
This is car we won Charlotte with fall of 2001 or 2. I don't know what year it was. Jamie won the next year. And been a good car for us. Had it Texas this year, qualified good with it, led a good bit. But we run race runs most of the day and made one stab at qualifying. And It's you went back to look at the track timer from last week, and it looks like it's a little bit better than the car last week. So hopefully we can dodge everything and get the little Coors Light Dodge victory lane.
All right, good luck with it. Thanks, speaking of dodging things, here's the Ray Evernham Dodge Dealers Dodge for Jeremy Mayfield.
This is definitely one of the bullets that Ryan Newman should be watching, because he was 4th quickest in practice.
And now the entire track is in shade and the lights begin to come on.
I don't know, Larry. I mean, he's 35 years old.
Yeah.
Think about that.
Wish I was.
And look how it's already getting late.
Well, let's see if we're keeping him up. 16th, 29-28 for Mayfield.
They're going to grease up the old Walker when he gets out of the car.
Adjust the mirrors on it.
That's right. His GPS isn't working either.
I don't, they didn't try to sell Dick that Walker. Good thing.
Dick's already got one.
Dick had put a wing on it.
So Jeremy made his very first career start here in October of 1993 at Lowe's Motor Speedway. He picks it up on his second lap, picks it up a little bit, moves up to 13th quickest at a 29.22.
Of course, he was only 24 at that.
Yeah. That's 38 cars that have been under the qualifying clock, so we'll now begin the bumping process. Same car that he ran the other night. Team had to work awfully hard to get this car back out after being involved in that crash. You know, Darrell, and you'll relate to this, I think. Dale Jarrett, the 88 car, they came out here and tested, and he said they put every type of data acquisition on the car they could put on there, because he said you're going through these corners so fast, it's almost hard for the driver to even tell you what the car is doing. He said, look at the data and tell me what it's doing.
Yeah, because like you said, you get around here so quickly, all you can do is focus, concentrate on your driving. You can't, you don't have a lot of time. You're looking at the gauges, or they always say, how much RPM did you lose in the turn? I do what?
Whoa, we got a handful of wheel there. UPS Ford got a big autograph session tomorrow up at his business, Dale Jarrett Inc. on Route 70, right at the Newton Hickory line there, pretty much.
We talk about unique schedules. Another part of the unique schedule is qualifying's tonight. The Nextel Cup garage is completely closed tomorrow. It's silent. It's dark, as we call it. And then they pick back up on the regular schedule Saturday with the 2 final practices.
So if the Cup garage is closed tomorrow, it's going to be pretty noisy up there in Cocktail Cove, would you guess?
I'd say probably so, but it'll be very noisy here because everything happens with the Busch cars tomorrow, including qualifying that you can see on speed.
Dale Jarrett 25th, 29.41, right in a dense pack of Fords there with Greg Biffle, Kurt Busch, and Jeff Burton. On Saturday, DJ will be in the Hollywood Hotel during our coverage of the Busch race.
And tomorrow, just FYI, I'm judging the Boogity Brownie contest tomorrow, and then I'm going to host the driver's wife's auxiliary at the Wachovia Atrium.
Fashion show.
Fashion show.
With all your fashion sense?
A Boogity Brownie contest?
Oh, yeah, they're good.
Welcome back to Lowe's Motor Speedway. Ricky Rudd, which, as we've documented, the Wood Brothers Air Force Ford, is the one Ford with the new generation Ford engine package this weekend. We'll see how he fares.
Yeah, again, just finishing up the story with my conversation with Robert Yates, he said they worked very hard to try to get 3 of those new packages together for the 3 cars that did not have them in the All-Star race the other night, Ricky Rudd, Greg Biffle, and Jeff Burton. But he said, Larry, our guys have been working around the clock. As you talked, Darrell, it's a whole package. And he said all we could get to was just one, and it ended up in the Wood Brothers car.
Ricky had a pole here driving his own Ford in 1995 in the fall race. This will be his 56th race at Lowe's Motor Speedway.
Of course, he was involved in that first lap crash in the Open on Saturday night. They had to bring a brand new car back out here untested. Saw the racetrack for the first time when practice opened earlier today. And I think they're going through some new car blues. They were really having problems in practice with the tires bottoming out the front fenders. They were having to really beat on the front fenders.
29.51 for Rudd. He is 30th fastest. And Dick Berggren is with a past 600 winner.
A couple of weeks ago at Richmond, you and I were talking about Richmond, and I asked you how good your car was, and you said you had a great car for Richmond, but you had a really good car for here. Why is this car so good?
I don't know. My guys have done some really great work on it, and I'm just proud of this Viagra team. They've been steady improving my race cars, and it's really starting to show on the racetrack.
Mark Martin's last win was in the Coca Cola 600. How about Sunday?
He looked awfully racy the other night in that All-Star race.
Here you win the car with us.
I said, what are your chances of winning this thing on Sunday? Your last win was there.
Oh, you know, this car is as good as the car we won with in 2002. But, you know, things need to go our way, and we need to make sure that we do all the right adjustments. Those ladder adjustments right at the end of the race are the ones that make the difference. And we hit it right in 2002. We'll try to do it again this year.
There'll be a lot of blue shirts in that grandstand cheering for you on Sunday. Good luck.
How about this? Kevin LePage of Shelburne, Vermont, who had to time his way into the field. He's in the negotiationsseminar.com Chevrolet. That's a mouthful. He has negotiated himself up to 19th.
I mean, he beat a lot of good race cars. I mean, he beat Kevin Harvick and a lot of good race cars, but that's behind him.
Larry, he practiced 44th at a 30.21. He qualifies at a 29.33. Where does that come from?
But Kevin LePage has always qualified good at this racetrack, no matter what car he's been in.
Been doing some serious negotiating, what he
I'd say. Here are the 5 drivers who must get in on time. LePage and Kyle Busch are safely in the field.
Jeff Fultz has already been bumped out of the top 38, so we know he will be one of the 9 cars going home.
Oh, that's pretty. That's sunset.
Coors Light Marines Dodge for Sterling Marlin. This will be his 47th race at Lowe's Motor Speedway.
He was 19th quickest in practice. Sporting the Marines paint scheme. This is one of 4 races that they're going to run this paint scheme. I think Sterling was a presenter at the American Country Music Awards Wednesday night, last night out in Las Vegas.
I think he was supposed to be. I didn't watch the whole show, so I'm not sure.
We are hearing that he did. He was one of the presenters out there. He ends up 29th quickest on his first lap, 29.44.
Pretty neat to honor the Marines on Memorial Day weekend. I think as much as we enjoy stock car racing and have fun celebrating this sport of speed, we should never forget the sacrifice and the time that many folks have spent in service to our country so that we could enjoy these freedoms. 29th fastest for Sterling. Second lap is 6/100 slower. That bumps Jeffrey Bodine out of the top 38, along with Morgan Shepherd, Jeff Fultz, and Andy Hillenberg. Well, that was quick.
It was quick.
The sun is sinking.
Of course, that's a good sight for people like Jimmy Johnson, Mark Martin, John Andretti. There you see it. It just continues to drop. Now we're down to 89 degrees in 1 and 2 and 96 degrees. Just look at the difference from where we started to where we are now in turns 3 and 4, because as you said, Mike, the sun is completely gone now and the entire racetrack is almost in darkness.
We said a lot of stories today, a lot of news. This is Steve Park, who has been racing for the Gawns in the Craftsman Truck Series. And this is the Jim Smith #7, a car that has been full-time on the Cup circuit until this season, making just selected starts. I think they were at Richmond 2 weeks ago.
That was with Dave Blaney, and they actually plan on running Dover next week with Dave Blaney, but they struggled in practice, Mike. They were only 45th quickest. Right now he's 35th quickest on that first lap, 29.64. Once again, one of the cars with 52 cars here that could be very borderline.
Yeah, way down the list, 47th in owner points. The Ultra Motorsports Dodge.
Looks like a better lap. Of course, you know. Oh, that didn't look good right there.
And you know that's all that's there. I mean, Steve he's a heck of a qualifier.
He slows down about 3/10 on lap 2.
So 29.64, 35th, and that's going to be borderline.
Bye-bye, son.
See you in the morning.
Hello, Moon.
No, don't go away. We'll be right back.
No, it's good night, Moon.
Yes. Welcome back to Lowe's Motor Speedway, where Philadelphia native Kirk Shelmerdine is our next qualifier.
And of course, the other night in the Open, Kurt cut a right front tire down, hit the wall hard in that car. He had planned on bringing that car back. Now, though this car looks like Greg Biffle's car, this was one of Kurt's older cars that had a 2002 body on it, which would have made him have to race a shorter rear spoiler. So he needed an 03 body or 04 body. He went to Roush Racing. They pointed to a body that had been cut off of a car that was out in the field. He said weeds was growing up through the windshield opening. So he bought the body, put it on this race car, just barely got it finished. He said they were very careful not to disturb the paint scheme because they didn't have time to paint this car.
You've got to be kidding.
That's a story. Larry Mack's always got a story.
From out of the weeds. 30.47, though, is not going to get Kurt in this field. He does pick up a provisional this week because of the attempts that he has made, but don't know if he'll get a chance to use it. Casey Mears.
We're in sync.
That's a good thing. All right, in the target dodge. Your turn.
Yeah, he qualified, of course, on the outside pole in the Nextel Open on Saturday night. And at the start of the race, had the transmission tear up. And, of course, about a third of the field was involved in that wreck. And ironically, 1 year ago in the Coca Cola 600, he had transmission problems in the race. Ended up finishing 35th.
Used to driving those Indy cars with a sequential shifter, maybe. Having trouble with that.
Pretty good qualifying run, though. 13th quickest, 29.21.
Oh, what's bad for?
Sequential?
Sequential, yeah. It's an Indy car thing. I picked up the other day watching TV.
Or a motorcycle thing.
Oh, yeah, you do it on a motorcycle, too. I just thought that was on a motorcycle because the thing just went, oh, golly, he's loose. Sorry about that.
My motorcycle never did that. Casey Mears is 13th with a 29.21 second lap. Mirrors the first.
A boogity brownie contest.
Oh yeah. Access boogity 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 brownie.
Speedway where Ryan Newman, car 12, is our fastest qualifier, but the scoreboard instead chooses to honor Dick Berggren's birthday with 62 on top of the board. Jeff Gordon second, Elliott Sadler third. Way to go, Dick. That's your own #1 spot on the scoreboard. Anyhow, while we were away, Stanton Barrett in the Husqvarna Chevrolet timed in 42nd. So that will likely not give him a spot in the Coke 600. And the 09 will be driven by Bobby Hamilton Jr. on Sunday night, but because he had a prior commitment to Team Marines, his Busch team, that he couldn't get out of for this evening, Shane Meal behind the wheel, and he puts that car in the show.
That car 09 car bottomed out hard there in 1 and 2. Shane Meal, though, good qualifier. He qualified Michael's Busch car in Nazareth last week, qualified third.
Yeah, he did. Did a great job for Michael.
Scott Riggs, 24th, 29.38. Valvoline Chevy. Okay, now they're saying Bobby Hamilton Jr. made it back. He was in the car. We'll wait and see who climbs out of it, because once again, we've gotten a little confused somewhere.
No, but let me tell you, I was listening to the scanner, and from down in the garage up to the tower, they must have called 10 times wanting to know who was in the 09 car.
Shane Meal did practice the car most of the practice. Now, if Bobby Hamilton Jr. did indeed qualify that car, then he'll be able to start it in the qualifying position.
And you know, Bobby Hamilton Jr. is a really good qualifier.
Yes, he is.
And oh, by the way, just to prove that some people do actually watch this show, Dale Jarrett called. He said, thanks for the plug for his open house, but they've moved it. So don't drive to Hickory, folks. Dale Jarrett Ford, which is way out Route 74 between Charlotte and Monroe in a little town called Indian Trail. You can't miss it.
Can't miss it.
Just take 74 east out of town, and there it is. That's where the open house is on Friday.
We have not moved the Boogity Brownie contest.
No,
so
that's good.
That's safe.
Thanks, Dale. Thanks for the correction.
Scott Riggs did qualify 24th. That will bump Todd Bodine out of the field, and it will knock him to the house. But Steve Park in the 7 car on the bubble.
Now, Carl Long has been bumped as well. ARCA coming up next, live from Lowe's Motor Speedway, so keep it on the speed.
A lot of new young talent in that race tonight. A lot of kids to watch.
And good race cars, too. I mean, a really classy field of good race cars.
Jimmy Spencer, who last Saturday night said it was the shortest race he'd ever been in when he became part of a wreck that was not of his making. right past the green flag.
Jimmy was 35th quickest in practice. He actually sat on a Bud pole here in October 2001. That was his last Bud pole that he sat on. Good run, though, for Jimmy in this 4-car, 22nd quickest.
Nice job there, Pard.
You know, we talked about it in the top of the show. Right now, Tony Stewart is 5th at a 29.01. Johnny Sauter in the 30 car is on the bubble at a 29.62. 0.6 of a second. Qualifying just keeps getting tighter and tighter.
So Steve Park is bumped, and that will bump Park out of the show. He does not have enough owner points with that number 7 to make the provisional list. Jimmy Spencer, 22nd. It's still Dodge, Chevy, Ford at the top of the list. Newman, Gordon, and Sadler, but Jimmy Johnson, who was fastest in practice among those yet to qualify. John Andretti is back behind the wheel of a DEI Chevrolet. Good to see Snap-on Tools backing him this weekend in the 600.
That is a candy apple red right there, boys.
These guys put a lot of effort into the race. They tested out here for 2 days. They went to Kentucky, did a lot of testing. You remember Dale Earnhardt Jr. back in Vegas talking about testing. These guys went to Kentucky and did some testing. And, you know, so much has been made of Robbie Gordon, Tony Stewart's doing the double duty. This is the man that did it the very first time back in 1994, I think it was. Ran Indy, had a top 10 finish, came here to the Coca Cola 600, had a pretty good run going, and lost an engine. He was the first man to do it there.
That's the Dale Earnhardt Legacy program on the hood of that Chevrolet, and John Andretti is in 23rd with a 29.35.
Yeah, I think he'd have probably been a little quicker if that thing had bottomed out. It bottomed out pretty hard down in turn 1, wiggled a little with him.
And Darrell, that's one of the components of more grip in the racetrack. You get off turn 4 so much better. You're carrying so much more speed into the next corner. You travel the car more. It bottoms out when it didn't bottom in practice.
Yeah, well, maybe crew chief, you should have raised it up a little bit or something. I'm going to drive it. They always say, I love it when people say, oh, you drove in too hard. What?
Make me a note. I'll do that in October.
Second lap, pretty close on the first for Andretti. That bumps Johnny Sauter. Mark Martin and Jimmy Johnson coming up. Speed Channel's coverage of NASCAR Budweiser pole qualifying from Lowe's Motor Speedway is brought to you by YJ Stinger, the extreme energy drink. Catch the buzz, feel the sting. And by the 4,000 CarQuest Auto Parts stores across America. You'll find it at CarQuest.
My point being about driving it in too hard, these guys say, well, I run 1 and 2 wide open. So how much harder can you drive it in?
Yeah, how fast is there past wide open? Let's see. Niagara Ford.
Remember, he was 8th quickest in practice at a 29.58. The thing that concerned Mark, when I talked to him after practice, he ran the same speed at the beginning of practice as he did at the end when the track was a little bit cooler. Let's see what Mark does here. 17th quickest, 29.27. Really didn't pick up that much from practice, 3/10.
No, Larry, but he's the second fastest of the Fords.
Whoa.
See the little overflow there?
Yeah, shooting out a little water there.
Not unusual for the Fords.
Not unusual for the Roush cars. They got that overflow pipe right up there on the windshield where you can see it.
And that's exactly why they have it there. A lot of times, you talked about it a while ago, driver looking at his gauges. He won't see the water temperatures going up, but he'll see that water on that right side of that windshield.
Second lap, same as the first, within hundredths. So Mark is 17th. Elliott Sadler is the quickest Ford. Mark has 4 wins here, 15 top 5s, and look at all the laps he's led.
All right, boys.
Last win for Mark Martin right here. A scene that could well replay itself this Sunday night.
The man was on a mission those last 50 or 75 laps. Our last qualifier, Jimmy Johnson. Now, once again, look at this track temperature right here, which the big one is here in 3 and 4, because when we started qualifying, when Ryan Newman went out, turns 3 and 4 was in direct sunlight. So let's see if this Lowe's car can pull it off.
6 top 10 qualifying efforts in 2004. And in the last 4 races, a 2nd and 2/4.
Can't get through there any better.
Nope.
Let's see if he can take it into way up high here. Late entry down the hill. Catch that white line. Wide open right there. This a good lap, boys.
It is a good lap. Ran a 29.30 in practice. All he has to do is pick up 4.5 tenths. A lot of cars has done that. Let's see what he does.
Ryan, hold your breath.
Did it. He did it.
28.86.
Bring it in. Stop now. There isn't anybody can beat you. Come on in.
Game over.
One
Jimmy
and done.
Johnson has his 7th career Budweiser pole and his first of the year. He's in the Bud Shootout of 05.
And I think this is definitely one of those nights, not to take anything away from the 48 car. You had a great car today, but this is where track temperature definitely made a difference.
But just think of the pressure, Larry. I mean, he sat there the whole set.
52 cars.
52 cars. Got a fast car. Knows he's got a chance. Got to get it done. And he did.
Darrell, you don't mind sitting there when you know you're sitting on the fastest set of wheels in town.
Well, he said that it might play right into his hands, and it did.
The last shall be first. Jimmy Johnson gets his first Budweiser pole of the season, the defending champion of the Coke 600. And Ryan Newman, the 3rd driver to qualify, got his 3rd straight front row start at this speedway. So he either had to go first or had to go last. Matt Yoke.
Last year, Jimmy Johnson started 37th and won. Now, how nervous were you?
I was nervous. That's a long wait, and Ryan and Jeff and everybody put up some strong numbers at the beginning, so happy to be here. I mean, I'm shaking. That was a pretty loose race car. I expected it to tighten up a little more than what it did. But awesome for the Slows team. Can't say enough about my guys, everybody at Hendrick Motorsports. Want to say hi to Rick. He's at home, feeling a little under the weather, so I hope you're doing well, boss. And Papa Joe as well. And one other thing, Ann Alexander, Blaze Alexander's mother, is in the hospital, and just want to wish her the best and tell her we miss her and hope to see her soon. So just an awesome night for us.
Especially when you look back to last year and the great month of May you had. This has to be a great way to start the weekend.
Yeah, this is a great way. I mean, we felt like we had a shot to win the All-Star event, and unfortunately was taken out. And it's nice to come back and step it up and qualify and get a pole. We'll be in that Bud Shootout, and that's what I wanted to be in too.
He went from 37th last year. He has the best starting spot of any on the pole for the 600 on Sunday night. Mike?
Well, it'll be a hot time in Charlotte tonight, right where Dick Bergeron's sitting. That's 4 candles down and 58 to go. Here's the way they'll line up. Chevy Dodge, Chevy Ford. Jimmy Johnson with his 2 teammates right behind him on that inside row.
Look there, all 3 of them right there together.
A lot of previous Coca Cola 600 winners in that top 10. Jimmy Johnson, Jeff Gordon. You saw Tony Stewart there, Dale Earnhardt Jr.
And another good top 10 for Jeff Green. Look back through the top 20. Robbie Gordon, that's where he'll start if he gets here on time from Indianapolis.
Chances are that's going to be awfully tight.
Unless he's up there drinking milk.
And brownies.
Provisional land. Johnny Sauter, Ricky Rudd take provisionals for the Coke 600. Ken Schrader, Kyle Petty, and Hermie Sadler. That means the 9 disappointed drivers are Jeff Fultz, Morgan Shepherd, both the Bodines, Stanton Barrett, Carl Long, Steve Park, Andy Hillenberg, Kirk Shelmerdine are the going homers.